Hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video here on this channel. In today's video we are diving into the best free options. I have a few options that you can choose from, best free note-taking apps out there, and I have a couple of additional ones. So I have a few really good ones and I also have a couple of additional ones. So if all of that sounds interesting, let's just jump into the first one. And this is actually Tooz. Tooz is a really simple, I would call it a list maker. So it has the ability to add a list like this. Let me turn this back into a regular list. And I can then add a sub list within this. So let's say I needed a sub list, I can do that. I can make a to-do. You have a lot of these are a part of the onboarding experience, these clues, or uh, I think they're called Two's clues. They are actually, and they are just a way for you to collect coins, which is you can use to upgrade within the application. It is quite simple to get started with. So you have different types of things. So you can choose a bullet, a note, a sublist, a divider, a dash. It all depends on what you need. You can also indent a thing, but I will go ahead and I will create a dash like this. It has a lot of cool features, and this application will actually grow with you. It is free with an optional subscription plan that gives you all of the upgrades, but you can also just use the two clues to earn coins and then use them on upgrades. And none of the upgrades are essential. They are things like being able to highlight, for example, on the phone. And they all apply on the mobile application. Like here, I actually have everything, so I can go ahead and I can click this and I can actually add a tag, or I can change this and add a highlight like this. But on the mobile application, you will need the upgrades, which can be either purchased or you can use the Two's coin. That is why I am calling this a free application. And this is one of my favorite choices because it also has daily pages as well. So I can jump to today and I can write things here. I have used this application extensively, but I'm currently testing out a new feature which will be out quite soon. So I can't show that yet, but I'm really excited to show it. So stay tuned for that. But that is Two's. That is the first free application that I really do recommend. Next up, we have an application called Logseq, and this is an outliner application, and it is quite powerful. So basically, you can do bullet points and have bullet points within other bullet points. You also have daily notes, you have whiteboards, you have flashcards, you have a graph view, and you can see all of your different pages. So let me just jump into my test page here. I can go back to my July 12th, 2023. That was actually for a review, so I can write things and jump back and forth because you can actually link things together with backlinking abilities, which I know is something a lot of people do like. You also have the ability to add plugins, so I have a few here. So that gives you the ability to customize this application. So if you wanted to do management, you can get that. If you want calendar, I think they have a plugin for that as well. There are quite a few plugins to choose from. This application also stores your files locally on your device as markdown files, which means that you own the files and you can move them if you ever would want that. It has a great graph view. You can also filter out the graph view as well. And when it comes to pricing, this is free, but you can pay for sync between devices. So if you want to add a sync, you can actually pay for that, or you can just use a third-party sync, which is what I did both with this and the next one. I use my iCloud Drive to actually sync my files between my computer and my iPhone, and it worked even though I used a Windows computer. It might work even better now that I have a MacBook to use as well. but you have the ability to use different ones. I think Dropbox is another option. I haven't tested out all of them, but there are a lot of great videos. The problem with this application is the fact that it has a high learning curve to it, but on the other hand, you actually have a lot of great videos to learn from. So that covers it for Logseq. Next up is Anytype, and Anytype is still at a really early stage, so bugs are to be expected with an application like this. This is object-based note-taking combined with privacy focus and local markdown files combined with collaboration. So a really cool project here. You have sort of like a blend between something like Obsidian and something like Notion. You have the like privacy focus of Obsidian, and you have the database and block style of Notion. So as you can see here, we have databases here. When I said that one of the issues with Logseq is that it is complex, this is even more complex. I spent a lot of time actually learning and understanding this application, but when I did and when I figured out object-based note-taking, I have been really a fan of this application and the whole idea of object-based note-taking. So it is something I do like a lot and something I am a really big fan of. It is free, it has pricing plans, but you will get away with the free plan, and the free plan actually gives you everything you need, unless you need like a lot of collaboration features. Then I would consider the pro plans. But for most people, if you use this application alone, this will be a great free option for you, and one I really do like, even though it has a really high learning curve. With this, you don't get that many YouTube videos. I have a few on my channel you can watch, but there aren't too many like great tutorial videos. So if you don't enjoy my voice, then you probably don't have too many Anytype tutorials to choose from. There are a couple others that make really great ones, much better than mine, that you can check out, but I can't remember the name of them right now. But this is a really good application, but it is really, really hard to learn, so keep that in mind. Then we have Obsidian. Obsidian is similar to something like Logseq. It has this plugin system, which makes it super versatile. You can create like databases, you can have folders, you can just have plain markdown text files. There are so many things you can put inside of here. I think I have a podcast from Snipped right here. It has everything you want and everything you didn't know that you wanted. This application has, and it has an extensive plugin ecosystem, so you can turn this into everything you want. So you need databases, you can have databases. You need task management, you can have task management. There are so many plugins. This application has a lot more plugins than Logseq has, which is a big deal because these applications are so reliant on their plugins. Without the plugins, these are just basic markdown editors, which can be great for a lot of people, but I think a lot of us want more features, and with Obsidian, you can actually get a lot of those features. The same goes for this as with Logseq. It is free, but you can pay for syncing. But you can also go for third-party sync. I used iCloud Drive with this, and it actually worked quite well. This also has backlinking and also a graph view as well. My graph view inside of here is a little bigger than my graph view inside of Logseq. I'm not a big fan of outliners myself, but if you do long form writing and you want to learn a new application and you want to spend time learning a new application, Obsidian is probably the best note-taking application on the market. The only like huge issue that I and a lot of people have with it is the learning curve and the fact that it is so customizable that we end up customizing more and working less. So that is just something to keep in mind with this, but it is such an amazing application. you live in the Microsoft ecosystem, this isn't actually a question. This is the best choice. This application here is actually OneNote, and OneNote feels a little weird because it is a note-taking app, but it also, this page right here also feels a little bit like an infinite canvas because I can suddenly start to write in the middle of the page here, or I can start to draw here as well. There are a lot of options, especially if you use a stylus or an Apple Pencil on an iPad. This application offers a lot. It has a great web clipper. It has optical character recognition, so you can search for text within images. It has a basic notebook structure with notebooks and then parts and then pages. So you can have a notebook and then you can have a part here, and then you can actually add pages here, and I can go on and I can add more and more pages inside of here. It integrates perfectly with the rest of the Microsoft ecosystem. I think it also works with Copilot now, so you have Copilot within here as well. And it is just simple. If you work a lot in the Microsoft ecosystem, there isn't a better choice than Microsoft OneNote. Even though the UI might feel a little old, the application is just too good to pass on. And I feel like this is one of the most underrated note-taking applications that people don't talk enough about. It isn't Markdown based, which might be annoying for a lot of note takers, especially if you have been in the note-taking space for a long time, but I still think it deserves to be in this video because it is one of the best note-taking apps out there, simple to use and works perfectly with the Microsoft ecosystem. Google also has a note-taking app, and this one is called Google Keep, and I really like this one because it is sort of visual. It isn't completely visual, but it is sort of visual. So whenever I take a note like this, they come in like these post-it notes right here. And Google, as you may have already known, is really good at search. So this application has a great search engine. You can also add a new note with drawing, so you have the ability to do basic sketching inside of here. Now this is an empty note, but I can open this back up to write inside of it. I can also add images within here. Let me actually go ahead and just add one for the sake of this video. This is one of my thumbnails, so let's go ahead and close this. You get the point, like you have a bunch of different choices here. It is quite simple. You can add background options, so I can change the colors. I can even change the background if I wanted to. So it feels like sort of a visual application, but it isn't like the most extensive note-taking app you have on this list, but it is free. It is really easy to use. It offers things like reminders, so you can be reminded. Let's say I had a couple of tasks I wanted to do, so tasks for tomorrow, like this, and I could go ahead and I could add my tasks within here just like this, really simple. And then I could go ahead and I could set a reminder for tomorrow with a date and time and a place. So if you are in the Google ecosystem, this is a great choice if you are looking for a really simple note-taking app, but it doesn't give you a lot of features like Obsidian, Anytype. You don't get databases inside of there. It doesn't even have as many features as something like OneNote, but it is much simpler, and I do love the visual aspect of this. Like, just being able to see your notes like this, I find a really fun experience. Another one is Apple Notes, and this is especially good if you are in the Apple ecosystem. I have a Mac, I have an iPhone, but I also have a Windows computer, and I'm actually on my Windows computer right now, so this is accessible through the Windows computer by going through the web, but it isn't as good as the mobile app or the Mac app. So I wouldn't recommend this unless you are in the Apple ecosystem. But this is also a note-taking app. I think this is more properly rated than something like OneNote, but I still feel like it is really underrated because you have the ability to add folders. You now have Apple Intelligence as well, which will work great with all of these all of Apple's application and all of these notes. I just have a few random notes here. So I also have the ability to add tasks within here if I ever wanted to do that. But as you can see, this doesn't necessarily work properly because the UI and just the overall feeling of the application on the Windows or on the web on the Windows computer isn't as good. It doesn't feel as good to use this on the Windows application compared to, or on the Windows web version compared to the Mac or the iPhone. On the iPhone, on the Mac, it is great. This is more for like if you work in, if you have a day job and they use a Windows computer, but you use Apple devices, this is a way for you to like access your notes. It isn't terrible, but it is a much better experience on an Apple device. But I wanted to include it because it is a really powerful, easy to use note taking app. And the best part about it is that it is just so fast and so easy to just pick it up and write something. And that is a lot of the appeal uh, of of Apple Notes or iCloud Notes, which it is called right here. So I have two applications that have an extensive free plan. They are paid, but the free plans of these applications are so good that I feel like they deserve to be here. And the first one is Xtiles. They are currently running a Black Friday offer as well, but this is sort of a visual application. So here I can actually go ahead and click on my home and you can see that I have tiles and I can create things within these tiles. So I can create a bunch of them. They can be a simple note, they can be an image. So this is a highly visual experience, and that is what a lot of people like about it. But apart from being visual, it also has databases, which I know a lot of people like. A lot of people love databases, and this actually has that as well. So you get the blend of a visual note-taking app like this with together with actually having databases as well. And you have task management here. You have the ability to see all of your tasks in here. You have quick notes. So I think this is a really fun experience. I've never got this application to stick. I have done a couple of tutorials on it, but I feel like it is a really fun experience, but you will have to actually spend a lot of time building out all of this yourself, which is something I know a lot of people don't necessarily want to do because it is quite an extensive process building your navigation and your home and then building all of your databases. It took me a while, but with the amazing free plan and also it has templates as well, it is a great choice to uh, at least take a look at. The last one is also a paid plan with an amazing free plan. This is Notion. You may have heard of it. You have probably heard of it. This has everything you want and a little bit more. It is database heavy, so we use a lot of databases to actually get the things we want. We have Notion AI as well, which is a paid add-on. But in general, this is also an application that is really hard to learn, but I feel like it is worth to learn because you can do so much with it, like everything from goals to tasks to uh, they now even have a calendar application to social media ideas I have inside of here, and I've set it up exactly the way I wanted it to be set up. And that is one of the best things about Notion is that you can create exactly the thing you want. So depending on what you need, you can create that, and it is extremely customizable. It feels much more like a no-code tool, and it is actually much more like a no-code app builder, a no-code tool, rather than just a note-taking app. But I and many others have been using this as our note-taking applications, which it does a great job at. But it is also really good if you just want a project management for your life. This is a great choice, but it is much more extensive, just like Obsidian and even I would say Xtiles goes on there, Logseq. These are more extensive applications that need a bit of a learning curve. Notion, you probably need to spend much more time on Notion and Xtiles compared to Obsidian and Logseq, but these are a lot of great options depending on exactly what you need. You can pick one of these free tools. So I tried to include one for everything. So everything from just simple note taking to more project management. We have free applications for all of those things. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again quite soon.